Hey everyone, welcome back to Kyber Brickz. I want to apologize, it's been about 2 weeks since we've done a Felucia MOC update. Now I have been doing other videos that you guys can see on my channel, and I have a few more kind of in the works, so please be patient with me. I'm really trying to diversify the type of content that I'm putting on here. Again, just truly the love for LEGO Star Wars. So there's going to be some really fun ones coming very soon, so stay tuned for that. But since it is week 5 of Building Felucia in LEGO, we're going to finally kind of do a little bit more to this MOC. We want to start finally finishing up. Pretty much all of the foundation should be done by this entire week. We also want to work on a lot of the vegetation plants and creating more canon plants, so things that we actually seen in the actual Star Wars universe. So I'm going to be working on some of that. I'm also going to be working on designing a few new plant ideas and just different things here for Felucia in general. And with that being said, I really feel like this is going to be our big week. Week 5 is going to incorporate a lot of detail, and we're just going to see where else this video takes us. So let's go ahead and dive right in. But really quick guys, if you're new to the channel, welcome. If you guys do enjoy this video, please give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel if you're not subscribed, and tap that notification bell to be notified when I do drop a new video. So let's get started with week 5. It's officially week 5, and I honestly have not worked on this MOC in almost 2 weeks. And it makes me quite sad because I am actually really excited for this MOC, but I just been so busy with a few other things. But now that we have our time back, I'm going to start working more on this MOC. And as you guys can see, there's still a lot that needs to happen, especially this water. The more that I've been actually looking at it lately, the more that I'm like not liking it. So I think what I'm going to end up doing is something around like this color of water. I think I'm pretty much going to have that kind of like flow all the way through. So unfortunately, we're going to have to probably pick all these out, do it all again before I start to actually make it look a little bit more natural with like these like wedge plates. Then we're also going to be moving more towards this area and starting to tile things off, starting to add in little plants and just other texture to make this thing look a little bit more natural like Felucia. Now I also want to talk a little bit about other plants that we're actually designing and showing you guys a few different ideas that I have, as I think that I want to include plants that are canon, but also doing fun plants in like different colors. But I don't know if I want to make it too colorful, maybe kind of like keeping like a certain theme with the colors, so that way it doesn't go too crazy. We will see what happens. I mean, I just want to have fun with this MOC. Again, I want to keep things like how it looks pretty much in Felucia. If we're going to incorporate a few other things, I think we're going to have fun with it. We're also going to be coming over here and working on like the water area. So there's quite a bit of things that you guys can see that we're still going to be working on here. But I think I need to stop talking and start getting to building. So let's do this. I've also just pulled out a couple of different drawers from my shelving, and these are some of the colors that I'm actually going to be using to tile this thing off. So for the most part, we have a huge variety of different things that we're actually going to try and make work. A lot of these like super colorful ones I'm actually not going to put in right now, or if I'm even going to use them at all, I'm not too sure. But a lot of the tiling is pretty much what I'm looking for specifically. So now it is time to do that. Don't mind the mess that is pretty much all around me and behind me. I am currently just trying to pick up all of the parts from the water. So that's currently what I'm doing. I'm going to make it more kind of like this. I don't know if you guys can see. Let's see if I can focus it a little bit better. So I'm going to be trying to make the water more looking like this kind of color using like this turquoise piece. I, for some reason, think it just looks so much better than kind of like the randomness of all of the greens. I did kind of want to make it like something along the lines of like a green swampy water, because I feel like that's what Felucia would look like to me, at least with the water. Not so much like Dagobah, but something along those lines. But I think I'm going to hold back on doing that and just really make it like a nice blue finish. I'm also going to still be incorporating like that purple that I initially wanted to, like in some parts of this. And I do wish I could make this MOC like at a much bigger scale, but not only would that cost quite a bit, or you know, getting the resources as far as like the actual pieces to do that, I think it would be really cool to be able to add more vehicles and stuff like that. I am kind of liking more of that zoomed in, I guess, like scenery that I'm going to be doing, but I just kind of wanted to clarify that on here, that I am working on the water and we're going to be changing it like, I guess, more of like a blue tone. So I'm going to get back to doing that. You can see now that I pretty much got all of the green pieces off of these two base plates. This is like where they interlock, so I'm gonna have to ensure that I do that on the next thing. And I'm pretty much gonna be using these turquoise plates that I was actually showing you guys in the beginning, and I'm going to bring it back in here and create that river. As I am watching Life Brickz on YouTube, shout out to him, he's got some really great videos. But anyways, I'm going to be putting on these turquoise pieces, gathering more of them, and starting to fill in the water area. After reorganizing all of the parts that I broke off from this MOC, this piece in particular I don't really have that many of. So I'm going to go on Bricklink, I'm going to see how much they cost and maybe order some right now. I pretty much need them by this weekend so I can finish this entire water surface area for this week. And I guess if not, then it'll have to happen next week. But I really want to tackle this really before I can start to get to everything else, just to be able to like naturally fade in the water to like the land area. So that's what we're looking at. I'm going to see if one of my favorite stores I can get like within a day or two, just because there are some that's like local in my area that I might be able to do it. So we'll see what happens. I'll let you guys know. Alright, so I was able to successfully place a Bricklink order for dark turquoise specifically. I was thinking if I can get away with like other colors, but after actually looking at source material, I realized I need to stick with that specific color. Now my wife did bring it up to my attention about the change, and honestly, after looking at it, I really don't like that green anymore. Like, it was a good idea, I think the thought is what counted on that, but with this new color, the dark turquoise, I really think it's gonna look that much better, especially after we put on the tiles to make it look more water-like or water-esque, or I don't know if that's the right word to say, but that's what we got going on. And now I think I'm going to roll right back into foundation, trying to put a little bit more greenery on this entire thing. And then from there, hopefully we can build a couple more plants. So like my goal for the plants in particular is again making a few that are canon every single week, meaning like things that are actually in the Star Wars universe. And then again, trying to create one new plant every single week. That way it's kind of like something fun, but also something that is Star Wars-y. So that's what we're gonna do. Now it's time to show you guys this plant that we actually are starting to create. I know it looks pretty crazy, but considering looking at to source material, you can see it pretty much looks like it. And this was like the closest idea that I got, considering everything and like the parts that I had to utilize. I figured it worked. I had some of these gold pieces, also some of these like Ninjago sword looking things, so I think it works out. And I think I'm going to make a handful of these to put in our MOC. So this is going to be another Star Wars canon piece that you can actually see inside of Felucia. Next, I'm going to show you something that I created. The next plant that we're actually going to be making is going to be something fun, something that we create that is original for this MOC. And I'm going to be utilizing a few of these pieces. So with that being said, this specifically is what I'm going to be making. It's pretty simple actually to build. You can see there's already some on the Felucia MOC that I was testing out. And essentially all this thing is made from is just 3 of these pieces along with a couple 1x studs. And you pretty much just need to clip them in and they make pretty much this tree looking thing. Now this was semi my wife's idea. She was just saying that these colors looked pretty unique and would do really well for the MOC. And this part actually is an umbrella part, which is quite funny. thinking that I'm using like a LEGO City umbrella or a LEGO Friends umbrella for the MOC, but I feel like it does the job. I really want it to look kind of like those bigger mushrooms things that they have inside of Felucia, and I think this plant does pretty well. What do you guys think? Something fun? I don't know, I really like it, and I believe these pieces are from that Doctor Strange set, if I'm not mistaken. I just bought a bunch of these, which I have inside of my like organizer, so I'm going to probably build a couple more of these and put them throughout the entire MOC, which I think are going to be pretty fun, pretty colorful, and just something unique. So I'm going to go ahead and gather some more of these like stud pieces to build more. So I think these will be interesting and fun to add into our MOC. Now that we have some of these new plants made for this week, let's go ahead and start putting them throughout the entire MOC and see how it turns out. So I really do like how this olive color looks. I'm going to just pull more of these from like my bulk lot that I have to try and like wrap it around on all of like the edges to lead into the water. And I really do like this color a lot more. I do think it's like better looking towards like source material. So I think that's what we're gonna do to kind of have it like fade in. So let's work on that now as well. Alright, it's time for the finale piece to go in. So this is how our water looks. I definitely like this so much better than how it looked originally. It would have been nice to be able to put a little bit more of the olive pieces along the edges, especially on this side, but I do think it looks cool just like this. It kind of gives it its own texture, which I really like. So regardless, it came out great. And I think now what we're going to be doing is just tiling this section off so the water can be completed. Another thing I did want to point out, of course, we're not going to be using any of the clear 1x2 tiles. We're just going to be sticking to the trans blue. And I think I'm also going to be utilizing some of the actual 1x2 plates as well, like the trans blue, probably putting them around the edge, because like we saw last time, we want to put like these like cliff looking things, or these curved plates, or modified plates I should say, to kind of like overflow onto the water once we get to that point. But again, I'm just working on completing the entire tile off, so it's going to take me a minute, and I don't know if I have enough, so there might be a possible Bricklink order coming. Long story short, we actually just ran out of the 1x2 trans blue tiles. It is a sad day. I've been kind of like stocking up on them for like quite some time, but unfortunately we actually ran out. So it looks like we still have about a quarter left to do. I'm going to check Bricklink, see how much it cost, and potentially place an order, because I do want this thing completed hopefully here soon. Again, it's just going to be able to give us time to actually start like adding in other textures around it to allow me to continue the build. So let's see how much it's going to cost. So yesterday on my way out of Disneyland, I ended up stopping by the LEGO store, and I picked up a small container of each one of these. I figured, I didn't know if I had a lot of these leaves, but it doesn't hurt to have more. Then I also grabbed some of these like blossom looking flowers, and then some of these other pieces just to kind of fill in those empty gaps. But what I realized with this one in particular is that over here with our MOC, the ones we truly needed were the blue ones. So it looks like we have a lot more of these. Maybe we can figure out something for the MOC to utilize that with. Yeah, so that's kind of like the predicament we're in right now. But I figured it's better to have some than maybe to not. So hopefully we can utilize that. Maybe I can use it in a different MOC. But for now, we're also going to just see about trying to finish this up in a little bit once my new tiles come in, like I mentioned. I just got back from the mail, and I was actually able to pick up my package that contains my 130 tiles to complete our water for this MOC. I'm sure we're going to be making a couple other modifications, like as soon as we keep going with this MOC, maybe different things that need to be added. But for now, I am so thankful that this Bricklink order came in this fast. It allows us to finish this for the entire week. So let's do it. It's beginning to look a lot like Felucia. Yes, just like the song. Yeah. But anyways, it really is starting to look like Felucia with some of these fun different plants that are actually being incorporated now. As you can see, I did try to put one of the plants, or trying to make one of these plants a little bit smaller, but unfortunately it didn't really work out that well. So I just decided to keep it back to the same size. So I'll make other plants kind of different lengths and stuff like that. Especially like these Felucian trees. So like this black tree right here, it's not really supposed to have maroon on the bottom. Pretty much you can see that I'm going to create different like lengths and different things for these specifically, because this one is pretty much supposed to be stacked up here. But I also want to make like smaller ones, so we have not like all standard looking trees. They're actually going to be different, kind of like what I did right here. With this plant in particular, I made smaller versions of it as well, just different like lengths, and I figured that would make it a little bit more realistic. But if you guys have any thoughts for me in the comment section down below, let me know. I would love to incorporate some different details, but that's what it's looking like so far, and I'm loving it. With this water too, man, it just makes it pop so well. I am geeking out over this. This is gonna turn out so cool. I love it. I've had this bin full of random pieces, so right now I'm actually sorting them out of pieces that I'm actually going to utilize for the water area. And I'm also starting to kind of get some plates set for the Separatist base area. I'm just pretty much using just the same color palette that I have over here, because it's going to allow me to just get like the ground, just because it's going to pretty much be the same thing like over there. But that's what I'm currently working on. What an exciting thing to see. Our water is now complete. So that doesn't mean it's going to really look like this, because we're going to be getting our other pieces starting next week to create some sort of like pathway for the water. So that's going to be pretty interesting. But I felt like in order to kind of start working on the rest of the MOC, I needed this to be finished just so I can build the terrain around here to start fading it into everything else over here. So for the rest of the weekend, I'm going to be kind of doing that, adding some more cheese slopes and adding different like tile textures to the MOC. So that way going into next week, it's just adding even more plants in. And I'm also going to start to finish this area off, or at least kind of getting it looking like this. It does look a little bit scattered if you ask me on this side. I want to make sure it looks really clean, but I think in order to do so, we need more plants. But for now, that's what we have. So there you have it, guys. That is officially week 5 of Building Felucia in LEGO. Thank you guys so much for sticking around. I hope you guys did enjoy this video. Please let me know your thoughts down in the comment section below, or things that you would like to see appear in this MOC. I would love to hear. But with all that being said, if you guys did enjoy this video, please give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel if you're not subscribed, and tap that notification bell to be notified when I do drop a new video. I'll catch you guys next week. Peace.